to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row. Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Spring game is coming up. Rivalry weekend for Oregon baseball. A lot to cover today, and some Duck teams are in action. This morning, Oregon tennis. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Also, still in action if you're live with us. Oregon Acrobatics tumbling in the national tournament. We'll tell you more about Taylor Susnara's team here coming up. Illinois did defeat Oregon men's tennis today in the Big Ten men's tennis tournament. We'll tell you a little more coming up. Spring game, of course, coming fast. 1 o'clock kickoff, the full timeline, all the details available on GoDucks.com. Oregon softball's on the road. They're in Bloomington starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We also have the Big Ten Men's Golf Championships coming your way over the weekend, and Oregon Track and Field going to a couple different venues throughout the country this weekend as well. So updates on Oregon Acrobatics and tumbling as we come. But spring game! Can you believe that it's almost here? Scott can't believe that it's almost here, but I can. The Ducks will divide the teams. Stay tuned on social media to see what the teams will look like. Team Bellotti and Christian Gonzalez against Team Bucky Irving and Rich Brooks. I got to tell you, I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. Could you imagine the golf round between Bucky Irving and Rich Brooks? I would love to walk the course for that conversation. I can only imagine what it would be like. The Ducks, though, do anticipate a fun environment at Autzen Stadium. And look, everybody who's making your way to Autzen Stadium, we'll go through some of the details if you've missed it. But things are a little bit different around here right now because of the construction on the 2-point mow, if you will. Indoor facility being constructed, which means Leo Harris Parkway is actually closed from MLK down to about entry 5. So if you're familiar with the map as it is, that part of Leo Harris Parkway is closed. Now, for most of you, that won't really change the traffic pattern that you're used to. If you're coming off I-5, for example, from the Eugene side of Autzen Stadium, you'll come down MLK, past PK Park, and then you'll be able to turn down Leo Harris Parkway toward entry 4 and entry 5. Entry 3 behind PK Park and Pape Field will not be open. That will be the exiting traffic flow after the spring game concludes, I should say. So you'll have that football parking in the east parking lot still. If you did not purchase a parking pass yet, we are sold out. Congratulations to all of you that got one. Also, thank you for doing that ahead of time. I'm serious. I've had a lot of conversations with the operations and events management folks here that it does make a huge difference to just know that they're sold out, have an anticipation of where to park people. I look forward to seeing a very full Autzen Stadium. A 1 o'clock kickoff at Autzen. Then we'll have the rivalry game against Oregon State for Oregon baseball. The Ducks throw the first pitch in the rivalry matchup tonight at tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, and then a 4 o'clock start on spring game Saturday. It'll be an inter-squad scrimmage. It will conclude the 4th spring season for the Ducks under head coach Dan Lanning, who led Oregon to an undefeated regular season, a Big Ten championship last year. It will also be broadcast on the Big Ten Network, and we will have the call for you as well on the Oregon Sports Network. Myself and Mike Jorgensen will have the call from the booth. Ryan Milano will be with us, Chris Clayton as well. Then they'll run over to baseball. Dusty Harrah's running around on the sideline talking to all kinds of former Ducks. I'm telling you, the guest list for the Oregon football spring game, a lot of the alumni coming back, is a great guest list. Dusty will be talking to a lot of them on the sideline. Don't worry, Jerry's just a little under the weather. Jerry Allen will be back with us in the fall, so I'm just coming off the bench to call the spring game this weekend. 10 a.m. is when the Autzen Stadium parking lots open. That's also when the Valley River Center shuttles begin. So I did actually get a couple questions about, well, if I didn't get a parking pass and I still want to come to the spring game, what's my best choice? Park on campus, make that walk across the river, but maybe you got little ones. You don't want to make that walk across the river. Well, the Valley River Center shuttle is probably your best bet. That shuttle is the only one that will run for the spring game. I know sometimes there's a lot of other destinations and different bus schedules, all those sorts of things. And it sounds like, by the way, I have not heard, I had a couple fans ask this as well, I've not heard of LTD adjusting their bus schedule for the spring game. Normally on a football Saturday, sometimes there's some extra bus routes that come around Autzen Stadium. Haven't heard that they will be adjusting. So if that's the case, we'll keep you updated. But yeah, 10 a.m. Autzen Stadium parking lots will open. Valley River Center shuttles will begin running at 10 a.m. as well. And then that pregame fan fest outside Autzen Stadium and the PK Plaza will run from 10 to 1. That fan fest is going to include all kinds of different things, and including a number of military sights and sounds, if you will. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the spring game. This is the biggest fundraiser of the year for Food for Lane County, which feeds so many in our community. Reminder, admission is free. We ask for a donation to Food for Lane County of 3 non-perishable food items. You can also go to goducks.com. There's a link there to donate financially to Food for Lane County ahead of time. But there'll be all kinds of United States Armed Forces sights and sounds. And I mean this, like, it's one of my favorite things when I walk around on spring game Saturday just to see. Like, I was the kid that went to the air show, loved going to the Armed Forces museums, and it's kind of that around Autzen Stadium. And it's such a cool continuing tradition now that started nearly 20 years ago now, that Oregon football has always honored the armed servicemen and women on spring game Saturday. There will be a lot of interactive stations for families, kids, and now I think about that because I was the kid that liked to go around and see all the different equipment, right? And so now me, even as a 32-year-old, I like to still walk around and see all of the different sights and sounds around Autzen Stadium. There will also be food trucks in the PK Plaza available from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. All kinds of great options for you before Oregon baseball plays Oregon State. PK Park gates will open at 2:30, and the food trucks in the PK Park Plaza will remain open until that first pitch is thrown at 4 o'clock. That's partially because we just want to get you all into PK Park, right? Oh, that's going to be a big series. Anyway, you can also secure your 2025 football season tickets. And then in-game, we'll have the national anthem, of course, with an F-15 flyover, weather-dependent. The game will be formatted as follows. 4 15-minute quarters, a running clock except for scores, penalties, change of possession, and the last 3 minutes of each half. So a running clock except for scores, penalties, change of possession, and the last 3 minutes of each half. It will be a 12-minute halftime at Autzen Stadium. And those rosters, again, will be unveiled as, we have some fun with it on social media and with the team. And then I talked to you about the halftime. 4 Gold Star families will be honored as we remember their family members lost in active duty. You can learn more on Gold Star families via a link on goducks.com. If you click on that front page, scroll down a little bit, then the spring game fan info is right there. The UO Spirit team and the Duck will be in attendance. The Oregon Marching Band will be playing your favorite hits at halftime as well. And then postgame. Fans are, of course, invited to go to the baseball game, but also stick around for that coveted gift exchange between 120 former and active duty military and the football team. That's a pretty powerful moment. And, it's interesting. Like, I think, too, about, like, the kid me again, right? And I remember seeing things like that as a kid and kind of look at my dad, look at my grandpa, like, hey, why is this such a big deal? And it really is a special moment post-game. Every time when you see just the one on the student athletes and the coaches, the staff, like they see that it's bigger than football right in that moment. There's kind of that it hits you moment. And then similarly for these men and women that do so much for all of us in the armed forces, what a gesture just to have him on the field, even, just a chance to give that round of applause and that thank you and remembering what it's all about. There's a lot of information, I know, on GoDucks.com. Reminder again, the clear bag policy will be in effect. And then I should say, too, those shuttles won't run after the baseball game. So baseball could go, 7, 8 o'clock. The shuttles won't run that late. So if you're thinking, I don't know, like what do I do? Well, then maybe it's a walk across the river kind of day for you. There will be also a bike valet, same location as last year on Leo Harris by the Science Center lot. We asked for a $5 donation. It's open as well for the football game only. And I think that about covers it. Scott, did I miss anything? Scott's shaking his head. That's a good sign. Any other questions, though, that come up today, if you have any, I'll be checking the comments on Facebook and YouTube if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. My email's on GoDucks.com. If you can't find what you need to know on GoDucks.com, send me a note and I'll try to find out for you. Scott had the flag. If you can't find out info. Okay. Scott had the flag pulled up and I was like, what did I say wrong? What happened? You can't find it. Okay, so we're okay. We're okay. Fan details for the spring game, the rivalry baseball game, all available on GoDucks.com. Check out that parking map, though, for those of you that are going to be parking on site. Again, the traffic flow is just a little bit different. And thanks again for all the support for Food for Lane County. I know that it means a heck of a lot to that organization, and it's pretty moving, too. You talk about how moving it is to honor the military. It's pretty moving to see also the bins and bins and bins of non-perishable food items that are donated. Shout out to you all, the fans, the community. That's what makes this thing go. I at the end of the day, the spring game is a practice. It is one evaluation day for the 15 practices the Ducks are allowed to do in the spring. Now, the common question, does it mean more because there's people in the stands? Do you evaluate things differently? Will Stein even talked about this yesterday. Yeah, it does change the calculus. And as Coach Stein put it, it shouldn't, but it does, right? When there's fans in the stands, things are different on the field. It's a different kind of energy. And it does maybe add a little extra evaluation as a result of that. But to me, this is really like a community celebration because you have the rivalry baseball series, right? You get Oregon football doing all these different things that are bigger than football, in addition to you get to see an inter-squad scrimmage. And then it's also Eugene Marathon weekend. All kinds of activities around Eugene. This always feels like the door opens to spring. It will be 75 and sunny on spring game Saturday. It will be 75 and sunny on spring game Saturday. We're manifesting. Now, it will be 75 and sunny on spring game Saturday. Okay. It really is, though, a community celebration, and it feels like the front step or the first step into spring, doesn't it? Like, there's so much going on this weekend, and it makes for a lot of fun. Hope everybody has a great time. Remember that it will be crowded, it will be packed. Just say go Ducks to each other, I'm all about it. When we come back, we're going to zero in on what will happen on the field a bit. Give you some of those thoughts from the coaches, student athletes. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself.
We were just talking about the community engagement and how it really is that this weekend. Is welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Here's something that does stick out to me. As we're seeing all kinds of spring games around the country not happen. So if you're a coach around the country and it's not very well attended, you don't get something out of it, I can totally understand a coach being like, let's just do another closed scrimmage like you do the first couple scrimmages of the spring, and let's just do that, right? I understand it. I do. Then there's the spring game at Oregon. And the spring game at Oregon is a raucous environment. It's fun. And Coach Lanning has said as long as he's the head coach, he wants to have a spring game. And I got to think that a huge reason why, if not the reason why, is the fans. Y'all make the difference because the environment is such that what a recruiting advantage! Right? I mean, we start sitting here and talking about what it means to be a recruit. You come through the spring game atmosphere here and you go, oh, so this is just a taste of what it's like for a fall game day. So I mean that, fans. Like, this makes a huge difference. That community celebration could go a long way toward recruiting and everything else, and I think that that's a huge part of this. That's why I like that the Ducks are still doing one. That's why we're going to broadcast it, right? Like, it's funny, Ian McFarland, the assistant AD here for creative and digital and basically in charge of all things Go Ducks. Ian and I were talking just yesterday about how, like, our business is basically to make everyone feel like you have FOMO. That's what we're trying to do. And the spring game at Oregon, I think, makes every other program have some FOMO because it's so much fun. And Will Stein even said it, right? Like, they're not going to do anything on offense that we haven't seen before. You're not going to tip your hand when it's on national TV on Big Ten Network and fans are there to see it and people like me and Jorgie are doing the game. I mean, you're not going to give anything away. You want everybody to get out healthy. You want everybody to have a good time. I just loved Coach Stein's perspective on that yesterday. And then take that next step. What an environment. And what a difference maker it is, I think, for this program. It's fun. It's fun to be a part of it. And I can't imagine that with where this program is right now, that it's not going to be a fun day. And it's not going to be a great environment. It's a difference maker. Giving everyone else around the country FOMO. Brian Michalowski, the Oregon Linebackers coach, met with the media. And he gave us a little bit of a breakdown of his position group. And I think you'll like what you hear from Brian Michalowski.
With Bossa gone, a lot of leadership gone in that linebacker room. How have you kind of seen the guys step up, and who in particular have you seen really step into a big leadership role?
Yeah, well, I mean, our number one must since I've been here is to get the defensive line adjusted at the linebacker position. So the preparation that the guys in the wings have had every day, the practices they're really being demonstrative with the communication, that leadership that's got to come from the position. But one theme that I've had this spring with the guys, right, is redefine. Great opportunity for the redshirt freshmen that were redshirting last year to redefine themselves, and even Bryce, right, who played a lot for us this last year, to redefine himself and become a better communicator in that green dot that Jeff was. Certainly missed Jeff, but really excited about how the guys are doing, stepping up in that role.
What does Bryce have to do to take it to whatever that next level of progression is to you, right? Where at what point did you kind of turn a corner from being a contributor 2 years ago to what you saw last year to be what we all saw?
Yeah, Bryce is someone that plays the game very fast, heat-seeking missile. So he first went out there and he just played football, and he was getting the ball. And we have a defensive culture built on relentless effort, and he showed that, and that's why he got on the field 2 years ago. And then the knowledge grew going into this last year. Technique got a lot better. So to answer your question, this year the big stressing point with him is just being that field general, the communication that he has out there, and also just the cerebralness of the position, knowing, having the anticipation of what an offense can do. So just overall understanding the game and being, especially that leader for the team too. Jeff was quite a leader too. So him building the leadership qualities.
You didn't go into the portal for the linebackers position. So I'm assuming you're banking on the three freshmen that redshirted to kind of progress. And where are those guys at? And how far have they come along since year one of being in the program?
Yeah. Well, I take a lot of pride in developing guys, right? And that's, I think that's evident through Jamal Hill, just 1 year at linebacker, now being an NFL linebacker. Jeff Bossa, was a safety, and, he grew tremendously. And then Bryce, right? So I feel like I'm really good at developing guys. If I'm having to go to the portal, what's that say about me as a coach when it comes to development? So I take a lot of pride in building from the bottom up. And I think it's a position that with as much leadership that we have to have and experience in communicating, right? That's the best way to do it at the inside linebacker position. So, but the young guys have done just a phenomenal job. I spend more time with them. Every morning I'm getting them up before the team meeting, getting bonus meetings with them. They're hungry and they're learning really well. So excited about their growth.
Feels like Devin has kind of, has kind of added tools to his game every year. Where do you think he's kind of progressed the most this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, Devin is in the same boat as Bryce, where it's being that alpha on the field and communicating, being demonstrative with the communication. He has obviously very great tangible skills with his speed, but it's about being able to get everyone on the defense on the same page. And so he's been doing a really good job of building the mental element of the game.
We haven't seen Jerry a ton on defense these first couple of years, in part because experienced guys were in front of him. But what has he been able to show here this spring with a little bit less of a logjam to where you might be able to call upon him more in a defensive capacity?
Yeah, it's been a tremendous opportunity for Jerry to step up, and he's doing a great job with it. He's a very smooth athlete. I think if you watch his cousin Joe Mixon run the ball, right, you see a smooth athlete at running back, right? He plays defense the same way. He's been patient, and but he's had the right mindset of growth the entire time. So really excited about what plays Jerry can make this fall for us, and even more soon in the spring game, and showcase the development that he's had.
For Kamar and Braden specifically, just what has stood out in these 11, 12 practices, couple of scrimmages, what have they been able to show here with just more opportunity, with more run time than maybe in fall camp or throughout the season this past year? Just what have you seen from each of them?
Yeah, you mentioned Kamar and you mentioned Braden, but also Dylan Williams in that 24 class. All those guys are downhill linebackers, extremely aggressive with physicality, and they've just grown mentally, and it's such a mental position. So they're doing a great job of understanding not just our job, but what's all the variables that can come from an offense that can have us make adjustments and be smooth on the field and that cerebral guy on the field. So they're doing a good job developing there.
Last question, James. Certainly appreciate the pride and development, Brian, but if numbers are just a little bit thin or guys are on the shelf a little bit, do you feel there's going to be a need to add here in the next couple of weeks at the spot, whether it be experience in particular, if they're in the portal, it's probably experience, but experience, somebody who's run a defense, et cetera, just for depth purposes, if nothing else?
I think we just have to approach like personnel decisions as they come, but at the same time, my mindset is build the room from the bottom up. So these guys are all very talented. They had an opportunity to come to Oregon, and they came here for that development piece. So I honor that every day, just being the best mentor and teacher that I could be for them.
I got to say, I really loved that answer from Coach Michalowski. Like, it's all about development, right? I mean, how many times have you heard people like Coach Lanning and people that are on Coach Lanning's staff, his assistant coaches, talk about that player development? I know, cliche, but like, really, the player development for somebody like Brian Michalowski. Think about a Bryce Betcher. Think about Jerry Mixon, who he was alluding to. Kamar Motuti. Like, the list goes on of guys that have now been in the program a couple years, and I think particularly on defense. Tosh Lupoy, Duck defensive coordinator, talked about it, how they are young but dangerous, very talented. A lot of highly touted recruits that have now been in the program a year or two and are working toward starting this year. That defense is going to be fun. Brian Michalowski, Oregon linebacker coach, breaking it down there. When we return, on that note, some guys in the secondary that are working toward bigger roles this year. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Stuck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, breaking down the Oregon football spring game. If you're just joining us and have some logistic questions, full details on GoDucks.com. If anything isn't there, ping me. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, throw a comment in there, and we'll make sure that we get an answer. But I think so far, everything's been going smoothly, and I hope that that'll be the case coming up on Saturday. Brian Michalowski, the Oregon linebacker coach, just heard from him. Now Sione Laulea. He's a guy who I think could be a big factor for Oregon. Transferred in last year as a JC transfer. Certainly has the potential to be really, really good. It was nice getting to know him a little bit. Sione Laulea talking with the media, breaking down spring ball in the defensive backfield and the cornerback room.
Settle something for us, please, because
How to say
we've heard
my
it.
name?
Yes.
Sione Laulea.
Question?
I know it.
You didn't ask it, I was.
That's the question you've ever asked.
We weren't able to talk to you last year when
Right.
you came here. What was it about Oregon that made you want to come here? What was that process like, kind of getting in the portal and coming here?
So I transferred from junior college, and the biggest fit for me was just development. Because I feel like I used 2 years, so with 2 years left in the, eligibility, I feel like I had to make the most out of my 2 years. So the place that was going to develop me the most and where I fit most in the scheme, and I felt like this was a place, especially with the coaching staff, with Tosh being such an aggressive caller and Hamp as a secondary coach.
Left, Eric.
What's competition been like? There's open spots, a lot of names. Not a lot of these guys have played maybe at Oregon. Just kind of what's this been like this spring, and kind of how impressed are you with just the talent around you?
Between defense, offense, or both?
Specifically corner.
I feel like it's been great. As you guys know, there's not a lot of experience in our back end, specifically the corner room, but there's some dogs either way. Whether we touch the field or not, you can see it clearly in practice that everyone's making plays on the ball, and it's pretty much neck and neck. We're making each other better each and every day.
Our left, James. I get you're certainly focused on the now, but when the news about former junior colleges and how it impacts guys, and Kobe was here until he wasn't here, and George
Right.
was here and he's not, have you even thought about what that could or may mean in the future for you as a former junior college guy in terms of additional eligibility?
I try my best not to look down the road. I'm kind of just focused on what's happening now and making steps forward day to day.
On the right, Zach.
You had the opportunity to play a little bit last year. You got that interception against Illinois. How valuable was that for you, just in simply building the confidence, showing that you can play at this level?
Right. I feel like that was just getting my feet wet in the pool. Obviously, it was late in the game, but that as a junior junior college player, that was my first time in an environment like that. And yeah, it kind of like shook out the little butterflies, and it was good. Specifically just because of the fact that competition is competition in the Big Ten. Either way, I'm going to play someone good, no matter what quarter it is. And I feel like that helped me get ready and settled. So it's going to be no surprise come time next season.
On the left here, Eric.
Kind of unique at your size to play the position you do. What was your history with that? Is that something that growing up in youth ball you had that kind of length, or maybe did you grow into your body? Just kind of the background of being a 6'4" corner, that's kind of unusual.
So for corner, I didn't play corner. Growing up, I was always short. I thought I was going to be around 6 foot, the doctor said. And I thought I was a running back or a receiver. I played more offense. And towards the junior part or senior year of my high school career, I started to get taller, and some coaches recommended corner just as a ability to be different, especially since you said the size. So yeah, I started to pick up around my senior year of high school all the way to junior college.
Back left, Matt.
There's been a lot of a lot of discussion around Decorian Moore and his playmaking ability at receiver. Can you just give a description of what that's like of going up against him? And then secondly, Cooper Perry's another guy that seems to maybe fly a little bit under the radar. Just the battle of those two guys.
Both those boys are very electric, and I feel like they're near plug and play players. Whether they're 17, 18, straight out of high school, I feel like they've stepped up to the plate immediately. With Decorian, he's electric. You get flashes of Tez in him. He's willing to get in and out of his breaks immediately. And for Cooper, balls in the air, he comes down with it for the most part, and he's willing to compete in everything he does. Whether it's special teams drills, being here on time, he's here earlier than most. Just in general, like I feel like those two guys are ahead of the curve for sure.
On the right, Zach.
What at that point, just kind of your opinion of the quarterbacks this year? I mean, whether it's Dante or Austin, it's gonna be someone new. What do you kind of see from them so far this year?
As for football, I feel like they take a good, strong charge in the game. They're connecting with their offense. They hold people together, especially when practice gets hard. Our day sometimes can be rough. Dante, in that certain aspect, tends to bring everybody together. He'll sometimes stop a period and talk to the offense and get them right and kind of give things a reset. For Austin, I feel like he's quieter, but he's for sure a leader in his actions. So I feel like that is picked up. Same with Luke.
Right in front left, James.
Going back to the competition in the corner room, when top three guys are off to the NFL, the rep count's going to be different, and a lot of guys are coming off injuries, whether it's Jaleel or Dakota, Iffy. Just what is that competition like right now, and who are you rotating most with at outside corner?
So we do, it's the same thing as last year. We do like a green, yellow format, and it's no specific order. We're all mixing. They're basically seeing chemistry between each and every corner, seeing which players play well with each other. And I feel like in terms of reps, it's fairly even. And who's playing with who. Sometimes you could see the younger guys playing together, but for the most part, we're all just getting the same types of reps, and it's rotating. So you never know what the outcome could be, but everyone, I would say, is performing at a high level.
Sione Laulea, great to hear from him and talking about a number of different subjects. I mean, even how about the defensive backs perspective of the quarterbacks? Not even necessarily defending the deep ball they throw or whatever, just the way that they lead the team. Big part of that position. I really enjoyed hearing from Sione Laulea getting ready for the spring game. When we return, a couple guys that I'm telling you, talk about potential. I know that word sometimes. Going to hear from Peyton Woodyard and Kingston Lopa next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Looks like Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling moving on. The Ducks advancing after beating Mary Hardin Baylor in the national tournament today. Second-ranked Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling team It looks like they will be advancing. Now, I think still, let's just say a few things that could happen, but I feel like I'm pretty confident. Yeah, I was right. 2 minutes ago, gone final. Love it! Love it. Ducks scored over 91 in the team event. The meet total was just under 271. Ducks pretty convincing, though, over Mary Hart and Baylor. So Oregon will advance in the NCATA National Tournament. Congratulations to the Ducks. They will be in action again tomorrow for Taylor Susnara's team. Outstanding. Peyton Woodyard, though, talking about this matchup that I feel like is the matchup in the secondary group in general. There's a lot of different guys that can play different positions, and I feel like Peyton Woodyard is a great example of that aforementioned point of development. He is now a true sophomore, played a lot on special teams last year as a defensive back. And, truthfully, after he was enrolled at Alabama in January of 2024, he participated in bowl practices, spent spring ball in Tuscaloosa, then became a Duck in May. I thought it was interesting hearing him talk about why he was able to find some success as a Duck in his freshman year. Listen to this from Peyton Woodyard.
What was it like last year hopping in the portal from Alabama and kind of choosing to come here after considering it out of high school?
It was definitely a no-brainer just because the system that Coach Lannon and Coach Tosh run over here is very similar to Saban, and I definitely wanted to stay in the defense like that. So I think it suits me well, and it's just going to get us prepared for the next level.
Front left, James.
You were the only freshman on defense not to redshirt last season, and you didn't get here till the summer. How did you manage to put yourself in that position, and how do you feel like you did getting the games on defense that you did?
Alabama had a similar defense before the switch, so I was there learning the defense early, and then also in high school, my coaches ran the defense, so I've been in the system for a while now, and I feel like I was able to pick it up pretty quickly.
Back right, Aaron.
The coaches and players have kind of talked about this spring how a lot of the young players are getting a lot of opportunities to step into some new roles and play up to what they're calling the Oregon standard. What is the Oregon standard for you, and just how much have you grown this spring in developing into that?
We got these three things called connection, growth, and toughness, and I feel like we all exemplify that. And I feel like our safety room in particular, we have a lot of young guys, so we're able to step up this year. Our oldest guy on the team, our oldest guy in the safety room is Dylan Thieneman from Purdue. So he's doing a great job coming in and bringing us along. But I feel like us as sophomores, we have to step up and fill a lot of these roles. So, and we have the talent to do that. So, yeah.
Back middle, Brett.
You talked about how quickly you were able to learn the system because of your circumstances, but heading into year two, when there are open positions for you to potentially fill into a starting role, how do you make sure that you put yourself in a position to stand out and grow and make sure that you get as many opportunities to get on the field this season for yourself?
I feel like we always have to just go 100% in everything we do, whether that's communication. I feel like that's a thing that me personally and a lot of the sophomores got to do is communicate better. We know the defense, and now it's time for us to bring the freshmen along. We have a young guy, Trey McNutt. He's a great player, and we're going to bring him along, and he's going to do well, and we're all going to just keep on making each other better, and yeah.
All right, Zach.
You mentioned Dylan. We've heard a lot of stories about him, his work ethic, his love for the game. What's been your experience just playing alongside him, working alongside of him?
Yeah, definitely his work ethic. I'm at the same lifting rack with him, so he's definitely getting me bigger and stronger. So yeah, I love that guy.
Back right, Aaron.
You guys had some students at practice today. Did that give you a little bit, did that juice the team up a little bit, give you a little bit of a feeling and an excitement for what it's going to be like on Saturday?
Yeah, it was definitely cool to have them out here. We love our student body. We get to go to class with them every day. And just for them to be able to see the work we put in for them, and for able to just put on a show for them, and I can't wait for them to all fill the seats on Saturday. So,
all right, Zach.
Some young receivers on this team that have been garnering some hype. Just curious what you've seen from guys like DeCorian and someone like Cooper Perry as well.
DeCorian Moore and Cooper Perry are both very great receivers. I definitely went against them plenty of times in the slot, and they'll get me, I'll get them, and it's definitely a good iron sharpens iron type of deal we got going on. So I'm grateful we were able to get them and bring them along, and yeah.
Peyton Woodyard, a true sophomore after he played a lot on special teams in particular, and now someone who really, I think, in a lot of ways, burst on the scene in that Big Ten championship game. Late in the year, Kingston Lopa started to see him more and more, similar with growing confidence from Peyton Woodyard. Now, these are two guys that, here we are, after a very veteran secondary for the Ducks has now graduated. NFL draft coming up tonight. Best of luck to all the Ducks that'll hear their names called tonight and over the next few days. And it opens up an opportunity for guys like Peyton Woodyard and now hearing from Kingston Lopa.
A lot of pressure put on you in the last year, kind of being asked to guard 44 for Penn State. What was that like, being kind of thrown to the fire a little bit without a lot of game experience?
I feel like I felt actually confident. That's really why I feel like I got that role to play that, and I got to go in there and play that game. I feel like I've been getting more confident as the season started rolling. So yeah, I feel like that's what.
What have you been working on this spring, and just what have been your goals, and what's your goal for the next week to wrap up spring?
Shoot, my goals really just communicating across the board, trying to get everybody to play fast, which Landon says a lot. Just trying to get calls out as fast as we can, get everybody lining up faster, play faster. So yeah.
Heard a lot of stories about Dylan, and you're obviously really close to him in the same room. What's been your impression of him so far, and kind of learning from him?
Man, his work ethic. His work ethic for real. I'm not gonna lie, I never really played with somebody like him. Just always ready to work, just ready to you know what I'm saying, like just ready to find something new to work on every day. And I think he's a good person too, like really good person outside of football. So yeah, it really helps me like look at things.
Matt, back left. Coming from high school and playing every down, probably playing all over the place. What was last year like of having to redshirt, and how did that benefit you?
Me, there's a lot of guys that took it as like, I'm not gonna play this year. At first, I was thinking like that, but I started like as practice started rolling, I just felt like I started just getting better, and I think it really helped me. Just what's it called? Just winning the day every day, just working every day, just trying to getting more meetings, and I started feeling more confident. Really, my confidence will help for real. Yeah.
Just curious your early impressions of Trey McNutt. He's coming in here as a freshman. What have you seen from him?
Man, Trey McNutt, he's gonna be a dude for sure. He's gonna be a dude. He's young, but I kind of look at it. I kind of see like myself and him last year, so that's why I really try to help him and try to make sure, like, because he's ahead of where we were. Where a lot of us freshmen last year were like around this time. So just really trying to get him to, be at the level that we're trying to be at. So yeah, getting young guys play.
Pretty veteran answer from a guy who spent 1 year in the program, right? Trying to bring the other young guys along, the rising tides argument. I thought that was fun hearing from a couple guys in the secondary, and Peyton Woodyard and Kingston Lopa. When we return, we're zeroing in on baseball as the Ducks prepare for Oregon State. Big rivalry series coming at PK. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Oregon baseball now getting ready for a matchup with Oregon State. We talked a little bit about it yesterday after the Ducks took a tough 10-9 loss at the hands of the Pilots of Portland on Tuesday night. Mark Wasikowski did meet with the media postgame, so early on talking about that game, but then he does look ahead to Oregon State a little bit. From postgame, Mark Wasikowski checking in after what was a tough loss. Now the Ducks have chewed on it a couple days, getting ready for the Beavs' first pitch tomorrow.
The result you wanted beyond that, biggest takeaways from this one?
Gonna have to process this one, yeah.
What's going to go into that? How are you going to process this one? What's going to go
Well, I
into
want to look at the tape. I want to see, at surface value, we didn't throw the ball over the plate good enough to win the game. I would imagine we probably didn't win the strike throwing contest from what it feels like. You watch the tape, you try to get more details of the thing. There were some things that I thought we did very well tonight. Some things obviously we didn't do well enough, and we didn't play well enough to win the game. They did. Every time we scored, they scored. Credit to them.
Big picture, when you're struggling, your bullpen's struggling to throw strikes, how much can you deal with kind of day by day in practice to try to fix that, and how much really takes a longer arc of time to really feel like you can get guys dialed in where they need to be?
Well, you can have it in both. It's you can't. Experience is something that you can't make up experience, right? Experience. Tonight, for example, Cole Stokes. The experience he's taken out of tonight is a very positive experience. He came in, he got the guy out when we needed him to do it, and it was a tremendous deal. Santiago Garcia, tremendous experience. Others didn't have the same good experience of going out there and being as good as those two guys were tonight. And so I guess that's my best answer for that.
Again, another bullpen collapse. Are you running out of arms at this point, trying to see what guys could do? Because it just seems like a different candidate every time this kind of happens.
Well, we're doing everything that we can to be able to put people in situations to succeed right now, and we're obviously not doing a good enough job of it. So,
you feel like you left Featherston out there a little too long, even after the infield single for an RBI?
No, he's got two seeing eyeballs that get through the infield. No, Ryan did a tremendous job with what he had, and no, he deserved those opportunities.
What about offensively? You feel like you could have done more to create more runs as the game progressed? 9
should be enough to win. I think that's pretty simple, but it wasn't enough to win. And so, yeah, the answer to that question is yes. We need to. When you need to score 11 to win, then you need to score 11 to win.
So Sanford, just what do you think of him? Seemed like he made some mechanical adjustments since he's been taken out of the rotation. Just how do you feel like those kind of paid off today?
It was okay. He's out there competing. He's got he's a young guy with a good arm. He's out there competing. He had some moments of really good, and he had some things that I'm sure he wants to clean up.
There was a lot of small ball tonight, some successful bunts, some unsuccessful ones. How important is that area of your game going to be when Oregon State comes to town this weekend?
Well, for anybody, you got to be able to execute to be able to win tight games. And overall tonight, I thought the offense did a nice job of executing what we tried to do. But ultimately we didn't score enough runs.
It's have Oregon State coming to town. I guess this is our weekly media to get that out of the way. But what have you seen from them, specifically on the offense with Ivar, Cad, and Turley, and just what have you seen from them overall?
Well, I mean, they've got a balanced team. They've, I don't know that they're perfect. I don't know that I've seen any team out there that's a perfect team, that's for sure. But they're a good team, and you're going to need to play well to be able to beat them. You're going to need to be able to limit free bases and do stuff like that, or else, beating good teams is difficult. This last weekend, we beat UCLA 2 out of 3. We limited free bases, and the results were positive. But we got to find enough people that can do that to where you can beat the good teams, right?
Given the quality of the opponent, given it's a rivalry, given the atmosphere that should be here, particularly Saturday, what kind of opportunity is this for your group this weekend to really kind of dial some
It's a things great opportunity. Down the stretch, we've got teams that you can control your own destiny in the Big Ten Conference, and overall with RPI games and stuff like that are huge. Yeah, it's tremendous to have good teams down the stretch with the schedule, because it gives you an opportunity to do a lot of things.
You've told us that you expect leadership from everyone. You expect everyone to step up as leader. What does that look like between now and Oregon State?
Well, staying together, right? I mean, when you come off of a hard loss, it's hard to, one instinct could be not to stay together, and so that was encouraged to where we don't do that. You win and lose as a team. It's never on one person. You win and lose as a team, players, coaches, everybody. I mean, it's just, it's not fun being on the wrong side of it, that's for sure. And so from a leadership standpoint, you're just asking everybody to act above the line and be with their teammates, especially ones that had rough nights, because, in baseball, you're probably going to have a rough night if you're playing baseball at some point in time. And, I think doesn't matter if a guy had a rough night tonight. I mean, it's going to be coming down the pike for somebody to have a rough night in the future. So, remember what that's like and be there for your teammate when maybe a teammate doesn't do well.
Does the run rule loss from last weekend almost help with that? Because you had the tough loss, you responded well and won what we said was the biggest game of your season to that point. Does that being so recent help you guys respond from a different kind of loss?
No. I mean, any win is in the left-hand column, and we've got a lot of those, and we don't have as many losses, which is great. Those are in the other side column, and so they all sting at the same level.
That's Mark Wasikowski, Oregon baseball head coach. Now the Ducks get ready for the Beavs. Heard him breaking some of it down there. Rivalry series starts tomorrow night. Talk to you for Duck Insider.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association.